G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. And I'm up here on the Cahill Expressway on the walkway here, and it's such a glorious, such a beautiful autumn Sydney day that I thought I'd just come up here and just film the 5am Club from this great location. We've got a ferry coming back from Manly, and the wind is coming from the east. Not a cloud in the sky. Everywhere you look is blue sky, and it's just a wonderful Tuesday. I was pretty impressed to see the number of people out and about. The ferry to the zoo. There was a line coming out all the way out onto the walkway down the bottom there, and I haven't seen that amount of activity for quite a while, I've got to be honest. Anyway, let's go on a walk and talk, and today I'm going to talk about a book by Chip and Dan Heath. They're siblings, and I think they're twins actually, and they're both leaders in their field when they talk about organisational behaviour and marketing, and they teach at some of the best universities in the States. And they put together a book. They put together a few books actually. So this is one of a number of books that they've developed and delivered. And this book is entitled Made to Stick. Made to Stick. And what it is it's some lessons, some powerful lessons in terms of how you can influence people around you, and how you can get things to be memorable, or occasions to be memorable. So one of the quotes that comes from this book here is that the most basic way to get someone's attention is to break a pattern. To break an existing pattern is probably the best way, the best method of gaining somebody's attention. Because the authors remind us, and we don't need reminding, that we live in a world where we're flooded with information, we're flooded with detail, and there's noise everywhere you look, and people trying to capture our attention left, right and centre. So we're living in a distracted state all the time. But the big question is, if you've got something important to say, or you need somebody's attention, what do you need to do to break through the noise and the distractions that abound? So the author comes up with a little formula in terms of the key things that you need to consider, and he uses the word success with one S to be the mnemonic, to be able to try and remember some of these cool concepts. So success, the S stands for it needs to be simple. Your message needs to be simple, and we always make the mistake, most of us make the mistake of overcomplicating things. And you know that as soon as you make something complicated, then you've lost somebody's interest. It's only just recently that Prince Philip has passed away, and one of the points that a lot of people who worked with him and met him said that if you were too complicated in terms of what you were saying or what you were doing, and you couldn't support it with strong evidence to prove your point, that he just wouldn't even bother continuing the discussion with you. But we're all the same. We're all the same. What we want is for people to give us simple snippets of information that we can digest and use. And so the first letter of the mnemonic, success, stands for simple. The second one, U, means that it needs to be unexpected. In order to stop somebody in their tracks, you need to deliver something which is unexpected. The C means it needs to be concrete. It needs to be supported. It needs to come from a source that is respected and in order for people to pay attention and to warrant spending more time trying to gain a deeper understanding. On the same point, the other C means that it needs to be credible. You need to capture people's attention using emotion. And the last letter of this mnemonic, S, means that we need to talk in stories. People love storytellers. People love hearing stories. So wherever possible, if you want to capture somebody's attention, then become a storyteller. Learn the tricks of storytelling. So the author tells us here that in order for an idea to be sticky, to stick in your mind, you always need to make it, as we said before, unexpected. Let me just scratch my eye, 1 second. There we go. It needs to be something which is unexpected to cause us to freeze. Because the most powerful way of marketing and capturing somebody's attention is by engaging the primitive brain, the reptilian brain. And we've learnt time and time again, and I've said it over and over again, that the reptilian brain is scanning the environment for anything that is interesting, dangerous, because what it does is it causes our brain to freeze. And then we decide, or we instinctively work out whether or not we need to fight or flight. But the first thing we need to do is to get somebody to freeze, and to do that we need to engage, as we said, the reptilian part of the brain. So it needs to be a startle, it needs to be unexpected, it needs to be something that can happen and get them to sit and look at you just for long enough for you to be able to then follow up with the next hook, so to speak. So you need to be noticed. The first thing you need to do is be noticed. And women are really, really good at this. When it comes to getting noticed, they dress up, they wear something which shows off their gifts. They'll put makeup on, they'll enhance the parts of their body which create interest in other parties, and amongst women as well. You know, it's not only that men looking at women when they're dressed up and pretty. You know, in more cases than not, it's the women checking out each other. So women have the gift of knowing how to make people notice them, and notice them first. So you need to stick out like a sore thumb, because with no risk, listen to this one here, with no risk comes no fun. So stick out like a sore thumb and make sure that you get people to notice you. The last thing you want to do is go through life unnoticed. You know, yes, I get it. It's important to be humble. It's important to be loving. It's important to support other people. But it's also very, very important to get noticed, because if you are going to be a role model, if you are going to get people, if you're going to help people, then first of all, you've got to get noticed and you've got to get their attention in order to help them. So all of this talk about, I need to be humble and sit in the background and be unnoticed is really unhelpful. So for all the young people out there, never forget, it's important to get noticed and do whatever you can do to get noticed, but to get noticed in a positive way, in a way which will enable you to get your message across and to help. And the second formal point which comes out of this book is where the author talks about the importance of creating a curiosity gap. And because once you've captured a person's attention, as we said, then you need to make their curiosity continue to want to stick with you and allow you to get to second base. So the first thing is to get the attention, and the second thing is to create a curiosity gap so that you can keep them hooked and with you for long enough to get your message across. Because the author reminds us, getting somebody's attention is hard, but keeping their attention is even harder. And we learn this over and over again in our relationships. Getting somebody to love you, getting somebody to be interested in you is really easy. You know, because you go out of your way in the beginning of a relationship to do whatever you need to do to win them over. But what do you do once you've won them over? That's where it gets tricky, that's where it gets hard, because you can't rest on your laurels. Because if you rest on your laurels, then somebody else is going to capture their attention and somebody else is going to take them from beneath your nose. Because what happens is that people tend to run on autopilot because they think that they know everything they need to know at this point in time. But we also always need to be on guard, and we need to try and keep people hooked, keep people loving us through loving them and paying attention to them. And we need to create a curiosity gap. And the curiosity gap can be created in a number of ways, and you see the media doing it all the time, and you see uncles and aunts and parents and other people in our families doing it. And what they do is, to create curiosity, you need to create fear, uncertainty and doubt. And this is the ugly thing in the world, because the media are masters of fear, uncertainty and doubt. But sadly, the only way you can get people interested in you these days, or interested in what you're saying, is to scare the shit out of them. To create an environment of fear, uncertainty and doubt, so that they listen to you. You incorporate clickbait to capture people's attention and to keep them hooked. So this is the sort of thing that we all need to be aware of, because it's being used against us. There are some great people who use it, our friends and family, but there are also some arseholes that use fear, uncertainty and doubt to keep us off balance all the time, to keep us in discomfort, so that we always keep on depending on them for our comfort, for our knowledge, for our information. But it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy, but we also need to know that we need to keep on poking the people around us to pique their interest. And the way we do it is through facts, figures, questions, and some people create it through misinformation and by skewing the data and the detail to get people sticking with them. But as we said, the most important thing of all is to be a great storyteller and to stop marketing. Stop your marketing and start storytelling, because people love the underdog. People love people who take action, who take on the Goliaths, and who have an issue, have a challenge, have a mission. It's important to reach out, to be the Good Samaritan, because those sorts of stories are also great, because they encourage empathy. And the third one of all is to be creative. People want to hear about people who have got solutions, and are just not the sort of people who just create problems all the time. So if you can come at a problem from a different angle, then that in itself will enable you to capture people's attention. So the author encourages us to become storytellers. And I too encourage you to become storytellers, to become bloggers, to pick up your phone, get a selfie stick, create some notes, and just start talking about anything that you're interested in. And what you'll do is you'll build your capability, you'll build your skills, and you'll become better and better at storytelling, and you'll leave a legacy, because at the end of the day, what you record is here forever. What you load up onto Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever you put it, whenever you digitize it, it's going to be around for a lot longer than what you're going to be. So have a think about taking this challenge. I challenge everybody. In the next month or so, I'm going to have delivered 1,000 vlogs, and I will have talked about more things than more people have ever even thought about. But I've done it, spontaneously. I'm starting to build a structure now, but it's really, really easy. And I recommend that you all do it, especially if you've got children, grandchildren, partners, because when you're gone, it's going to be potentially of interest to some people to hear about your challenges, to hear about your views, and to hear about your life story. Each and every one of us need to document quickly and as early as possible our life story, so that when the time comes for us to go, that at least there is a life story there that you've published, that you've edited, you've audited, and you have delivered to the ones that you love and the ones that you care for. Because each and every one of us have a message, a strong message, and it's wonderful to be able to take the accountability, take the responsibility, and the personal leadership of doing it, and doing it now. So go for it. Let's finish off with the positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and most importantly, let's take some lessons from this book. This book from these two brothers, entitled Made to Stick, and basically, make a difference, connect with people, and exchange information, knowledge, wisdom, so you can help each other, so that we can become the wind beneath each other's wings, so that we can all live, learn, and pass it on. So I think I'll leave it there, because I've been chatting for quite a while. I do get carried away, and my daughter Catherine always tells me, make them shorter. But I start with the right intention, Katarina, just so you know, but we get taken off on a tangent. But anyway, Filakia to everybody, Yassas, enjoy this beautiful day, this beautiful weather, and make the most of this Tuesday, the 13th of April. Bye for now.